Academic Staff Union of Universities has formally kicked off a nationwide strike.
Well, ASUU President Abiodun Ogunyemi made this announcement in Abuja on Monday following the outcome of his NEC meeting over the weekend. He said the strike had become necessary because both the federal and state governments have failed to implement the provisions of the agreement they reached with the union.
ASUU did its best subsequently to get the federal government in particular to fulfill its promises through series of letters and consultation meetings. However, all was to no avail. Consequently, based on a nationwide consultation with our members, an emergency meeting of the National Executive Council of ASUU rose on Saturday, 12th August 2017, with a resolution to embark on an indefinite strike action starting from Sunday, 13th August 2017. The nationwide action is total and comprehensive. During the strike, there shall be no teaching, no examination, and no attendance of statutory meetings of any kind in any of our branches.
Well, the ASUU President, Abiodun Ogunyemi, joins us now from Abuja to speak on this strike issue. Good to have you with us on the News Hour. So, yes, we just heard you say that the government failed in its promises with the ASUU. What exactly are these promises that you are agitating for?
Thank you very much. You will recall that in November last year, our union went on a one-week warning strike to press for its demands with respect to outstanding issues in our agreement, the 2009 agreement and the Memorandum of Understanding reached with the government in 2013. Among the key issues that were outstanding as at then were one, payment of fractional salaries. Our members in federal universities were being paid fractions of their salaries. Some universities were paying as less as 70%, 60% of their salaries. And that was affecting their welfare and their well-being. We had state universities where salaries were not being paid at all. Our members in those universities were not happy. You will recall the case of Lautech. Lautech's case has been on for almost a year now. That is Ladoke Akitola University. So that is about fractional payment of salaries and non-payment of salaries. We had another issue, which was the issue of the registration of university-based pension fund administrator, which we called NUPENCO, Nigerian Universities Pension Management Company. We have been on that for almost 4 years. So we brought it up because government failed to direct the appropriate registration agency to do what was expected. We also had this issue of sudden withdrawal of support for staff primary schools in the universities, that is university staff primary schools, which was part of our welfare package as agreed on in the 2009 agreement. In fact, way back since 1992 agreement. In addition to that, we had the issue of earned academic allowances, which were due to our members. Government paid initial 30 billion when we went on an action in 2013 and said that, well, after verifying how far that money went, they will pay the balance. Again, we had the issue of revitalization of universities. In 2012, a committee of federal government went around all public universities in Nigeria to assess the level of rot and decay in order to ascertain the level of intervention that will be required. And that was what we call needs assessment reports.
All right,
so that report came, government refused to implement.
Let me cut you in there a little bit.
Finally, we had the issue of okay, thank you.
Good, good.
Go on.
This definitely is looking like another minus in our education system and policy, and will draw the hands of clock back, especially for our students. We know that two wrongs don't make a right. Going on strike, does it solve the problem? Is it not another wrong to correct another wrong to correct what you are dubbing a wrong?
But thank you. I think that is not exactly correct. If we realize the import of our action, what we are doing is to help the Nigerian university system in order to reposition Nigerian universities as centers of development. Nigerian universities should be the incubating centers for ideas that we need to invent, to create, and to train the right caliber of people that will drive the development of the country. Education is a catalyst to development. That is not disputable. We know that our students cannot actually expect the best from their staff, from their lecturers, unless the lecturers are in the right frame of mind, unless they have the enabling environment. Where government has failed to fulfill its promise on revitalization, we cannot have the correct facilities to train our students.
So are you saying now, Abiodun, sorry for interrupting you. Are you saying now that since 2009, the government hasn't done anything meaningful to, well, come to your terms or in terms of what you're asking for?
No, that is not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the agreement we had in 2009, what the government chose to do was to just address the salary component. And in 2013, it was a result of our pressure that government came back to sign a memorandum of understanding with the union, where government, out of its own volition, agreed to inject massive funds into the system, totaling 1.3 trillion naira, which was to be distributed over a period of 6 years. But government so far has only released the initial 200 billion. By now, government ought to have released a total of 825 billion that have been outstanding since 2013. So we are saying that government agreed with us that we have rot and decay. A situation where in a chemistry lab, students are using kerosene burner, kerosene stove as Bunsen burner, where we are using buckets to fetch water to the laboratory. What type of chemistry are we going to produce? What
all right, let me come in. We can understand what you're saying. But now, when ASUU refuses to negotiate with the Wale Babalake's committee, are they not putting the cart before the horse? By this I mean, shouldn't they at least get to listen to what they have to offer? And then you can say, all right, we've fulfilled all righteousness. You didn't meet our demands, then we'll go on strike.
No, the negotiation we're having with Babalaki committee is a different matter. We had a package in 2009. That package was due for review in 2012. Between 2012 and now, ASUU has been pressing for the renegotiation. So government has just acceded to the demand for renegotiating that package. But there are aspects of the 2009 agreement and of course the memorandum of understanding, those 7 areas I was trying to highlight. Issue of fractional payment of salaries. It's not part of 2009 agreement. We never agreed with government that we would take fractions of our salaries. Issue of withdrawal of support for staff school is not part of our agreement. It's not part of what they are negotiating. And more importantly, the Babalaki committee does not have the power to implement the outstanding aspects of the agreement, which we have actually brought out for discussion. Last year, when we went on a warning strike, the National Assembly intervened. Our union was invited. We discussed all these outstanding issues on the floor of the National Assembly, moderated by the leadership of the National Assembly, the President of the Senate. And government gave commitment on what they would do about fractional payment of salary, that it will stop. Government said we should wait for December 5 judgment on University Staff School. The judgment came, government failed to implement the judgment. Again, government agreed that they will increase even budgetary allocation to education. Government promised to carry out a 6-month forensic audit on the entitlement of our members with respect to the earned academic allowances. 6 months passed, 8 months has passed. Government has not fulfilled that aspect of the agreement. So there are issues that we have brought out clearly out of the agreement, out of the MOU, on which government has reneged. And so when we have issues like that, what we are doing now is actually to help our students to reposition the universities and to help Nigerians to hold government accountable to their promises. What we have seen in this country over the years, is that government will make promises, nobody will ask government about their promises, and so that government will come and go. ASUU has been experiencing it time and time again, and we think we should not continue like that if we actually want to have a Nigeria of our dream.
All right, the government this time around claims that the nation is in recession. So perhaps the government is yet to, well, give in to your demands, but this government came in 2015. What exactly has your union done in terms of meeting with this present government to see if these things can be settled instead of, well, taking this action that you plan to do?
Well, actually, I just mentioned the intervention of the National Assembly last year. We had a discussion that lasted for almost 1 week. Relevant ministries, departments, and agencies were represented at the discussion. And at that forum, the Senate promised to intervene. The ministries planned, Ministry of Education, Finance, Budget Office, Employment and Labor. Labor and Employment. These relevant ministries, agencies, and departments all came together and they made pledges. After that, we wrote even as far as the presidency. And at every opportunity, we had brought up this issue. If you check 2 dailies on June 9, we had advertorials where we actually put across this issue, thinking that relevant government agencies will give us the needed attention. But government elected to ignore ASUU.
All right.
And our members became uncomfortable with that.
Yeah, all right. We want to thank you, Abiodun Ogunyemi, President. Also, thank you for being on TVC News, or the Primetime News, rather.